From towering monuments to paintings, photographs, and wearable art, the works of Kublai Milian shaped Mindanao's creative landscape. A visual artist from Davao City, Kublai transforms everything he touches into powerful expressions of culture, identity, and unity, whether through colossal public sculptures or art forms that bring his vision closer to everyday life. I'm Rochelle Rubio, and this is The Advocates, Empowering Voices. He was the first Filipino, in fact, the first Asian visual artist to stage an art installation at the Vatican in 2010. Across the Philippines, his massive works of art have become tourist destinations, transforming public spaces into enduring landmarks. From monuments and parks to towering sculptures, his creations command both attention and meaning. Based in Davao City, he is a multi-awarded visual artist and a recipient of the Dato Bago Award and the Distinguished Alumnus Award for Culture and the Arts of the University of the Philippines, among others. His artistry has gained recognition both locally and internationally. Deeply rooted in identity and cultural heritage, his works carry the spirit and soul of Mindanao. He is Kublai Milian, or simply Kublai.
When I started in Davao, there was no identity. It was just creating. Ang ano nga dyan is that I spent a lot of time in Manila, in the big city, because I studied there and worked there. So there was no wala siyang consciousness on identity. Identity came when I found my calling as I went along in my journey as an artist, because I stayed here in down south in Davao, and I stayed here long enough to know the land and the people. When I was young, ang idea ko lang is that because we live here down south and we are parang deprived or hindi umaabot yung art dito sa bandang parte ng Pilipinas, so I thought of maybe learning more from the big city and hoping to come down. Kasi nga I was really creative. I was into art, but I had no idea or no real inspiration or no teacher. Hard work talaga siya na pinag-aralan ko sa Manila, and swerte naman na nakabalik ako dito.
A painter, sculptor, printmaker, and more recently, he dabbled in photography.
I was once the painter and the sculptor, but if you calculate the amount of time that you spend time on the kids and the family, mahaba din yun. The longer you go in this journey, you would realize that hindi kaya kung puro sining lang, hindi kaya kung puro art lang. Equal time or balanced life, kasi hindi balance yung buhay ko. I've been doing a lot of monuments, and those monuments took time. Everything is borrowed from each other. When I'm doing my work out in some communities, in municipalities, and it takes a while, it takes months or even years. I'm away from my family and it's borrowed time. When I'm with family, it's borrowed time from my art. So, paano ba yun?
Behind the monuments and public spaces, Kublai's most personal role unfolds at home as a father.
It's just that my kids grew up, well, probably here in the Philippines, these kids in their first breath, they're surrounded by art. Imagine mo growing up surrounded by art. Either nasusuka sila sa sining or ma-inspire sila. No, but somehow I do not want them to or force them to be how I am. It's just that maybe nakuha lang nila yung mga values that I embed in my work.
Apart from his renowned public monuments and installations, Kublai's creative force is unmistakably present in the places he calls home. His properties are more than residences. They are immersive art environments where form, light, space, and nature come together to tell a story. Each space feels like an expansive gallery where art and life intersect. Natural light floods open rooms, accentuating sculptures and pieces that reflect his deep connection to culture and place. These homes are filled with moments of tranquility, peace, and beauty that resonate long after you leave. Here, creativity does not rest. Kublai designed these spaces not just as places to live, but as landscapes of inspiration where other artists can gather, create, and celebrate the visual heritage of Mindanao.
I have three houses which I brand, which I call them in different names. Three of my main principles or values that I keep: Kalinaw, Kalipay, and Gugma. Right now, I'm here in Balay Kalinaw. This is my house in Davao. Parang bahay kubo po, medyo malaki lang. Nitong bahay na to, if you look at it, it's shaped like a crescent, and every corner has a panulong. Panulong is a parang pakpak yan na nakikita mo sa Turugan, yung mga bahay sa Marawi, no, sa Lanao. So the purpose of those wings are to drive away evil spirits, bad spirits. So yung bahay na to is a product of our research on pre-World War II architecture. So actually, ang lalim nung ginawa ko to mismo yung bahay. Ano siya, high ceiling, tapos flowing yung mga vents, may mga designs. So based on old houses, but modern take. Dito sa house na to, parang siyang parang nature na hindi mo kasi kailangan mag-design ng bahay na katulad ng nasa western design, but something like the bahay kubo but modernized. I call it habitable sculpture. Parang statwa ko pa rin, parang sining ko pa rin.
Kublai's creative world extends beyond his public art into three distinct spaces: Balay Kalinaw, Balay Kalipay, and Balay Gugma. Balay Kalipay, or the House of Joy, sits tucked away from the rush of everyday life. It is a place where nature and art converge, inviting visitors to slow down, reflect, and be moved by the works on display. Here, Kublai and fellow artists focus on documenting the stories and expressions of Mindanao art. At the start of the main driveway, a monumental piece entitled Peace Under the Crescent Sky stands as a symbolic welcome, embodying a vision for harmony and shared humanity. Inside, a striking 30-foot table by Agi Pagkatipunan anchors the entrance hall, accompanied by a handcrafted door that leads into the Piece of Pie Hall. Balay Gugma, or the House of Love, serves as a dedicated residency space where artists embrace a more reflective pace and prioritize mentorship, care, and creative growth. Together with Balay Kalinaw, or the House of Peace, these three homes form a living, artistic ecosystem. Designed to take root, flourish, and bear fruit, they support a natural progression for Mindanao art and nurture its growth for generations to come. When asked when he first discovered the artist in himself, Kublai takes a moment to look back.
When we were young, we were very creative. Now it's just that our systems are not designed as totally creative kasi nga iba-iba ang field na direction ng ating mga curriculums, but I was lucky to be able to maintain the creativity. Well, I have done a lot of, kasali na din ako sa mga nag-exhibit, no? But iba-iba ang definition ng sining. May mga sining na dekorasyon lang, pwedeng artist na yon, but ngayon, medyo nag-iiba din yung direction ko, na I feel that art is no longer bounded by the canvas. Nasa labas na siya ng frame. Yung may hinahanap ka na totoo. Alam mo yung kultura na totoo. Pero ang hirap ipinta. So hindi siya something that is in the canvas but something that is felt. The artworks that we do is only a way to get there. Even on social media, people can paint and then they're artists. So be it. Kung ganun lang yung brand, napakadali lang pala. But I challenge the next generation today to be more than just an artist.
Behind Kublai's towering sculptures lies a deeply personal story. In the late 1990s, his application for a U.S. visa was turned down, a moment that left a lasting mark on the young artist. The rejection fueled a determination to create art on a monumental scale. Art pieces that would command space and attention. That decision would later propel him into prominence.
I actually had a full circle last year. Actually, last year in what was that? 1990, no, 2009, 99 yata or 2000. I was applying for a visa in the UN and I felt so bad. I felt like it was a personal attack on me na hindi ka pwedeng pumasok. But though I was single, but more so is that I have a Muslim name. Yun yung parang feeling ko. And I was young, I felt that my art belongs to the world and the world denied me of that. So nagkaroon ako ng parang drama lang. It's a personal drama that I kept to myself. So sabi ko, if I were to move on as an artist, it has to be bigger, heavier, and taller than the biggest, heaviest, tallest living America. So parang ganun yung parang naging ano ko. But that today, looking back almost 30 years ago, it's probably one of my biggest blessing in my life because it moved me to create bigger than life works of art. Yun yung maganda nun. Hindi ako nagsimula na ang ano ko lang nga nun sabi ko hindi na ako makakalabas ng bansa. So sabi ko I'm probably stuck where I am. So I would rather make my life useful by giving myself purpose in Mindanao where I am stuck.
Last year, Kublai's journey came full circle when he took part in a group art exhibit in the same country that once denied him entry as a young artist. In addition, this May 15, Kublai returns to New York for a one-man show where he will also showcase his book, Sculpting Culture. The publication features his monumental works, many of which trace their roots to Mindanao.
I had a group show. It was just so makapasok ako. But this year I will have a one-man show in New York. So tapos ang dadalhin ko sa New York would be my book, my autobiographical book, which is titled Sculpting Culture. So imagine mo yung kwento ko kung saan nagsimula dito sa munting lugar sa Mindanao. May dadala ko sa kung saan nagsimula yung pag-ignite ng aking passion to sculpt a better culture for Mindanao and the country. So magandang closure yung show ko this coming May 15 sa New York.
Kublai's art is likewise documented in Masterpiece, a book by journalist and author Stella Estremera.
The masterpiece is only a prelude to that book.
What inspires Kublai to begin an artwork? Is it history, personal experience, community, or something deeper?
Depende. Depende. Most of my works, baliktad yun sa mga monumento ko, they speak about the local culture. So, nagre-research ako, tapos inaalam ko yung mga kwento nila, yung mga sayaw nila, mga pagkain, mga harvest doon, at saka iba-iba pa. But pagdating naman sa mga paintings ko, para siyang kung ano yung hindi ko mailagay sa sculpture ko, doon ko na ilalagay sa paintings ko. So kaya nga sa sobrang hirap ng trabaho ng sculpture, ganun naman kagaan at kadali gawin yung paintings. Grabe ang hirap talaga na you're under the sun, you're out in the field, one single fall could mean badado or death.
One defining moment came when his work reached the Vatican, making him the first Asian artist to mount an art installation there. Witnessed by then Pope Benedict, the piece reimagined the Nativity through a Filipino lens, which Kublai titled Nativity, a proud moment for Philippine art on the global stage.
I was commissioned by the Philippine Embassy in the Holy See to create a Belen. So ang tinawag ko sa Belen ko, ang titulo is Nativity, native. So I thought I would want to bring in the local culture. I was the first Asian na nakapaglagay ng sculptures doon sa gitna ng St. Peter's Basilica. They were hesitant kasi nga they had to check kung magfi-fit ba sa narratives ng Vatican dahil malalim yan na napakalaking institusyon. Though buo naman yung kwento natin na naibigay ko doon. Yung Belen ginawa ko para siyang isang fishing scene wherein si Jesus ginawa kong bata where the Joseph and Mary were teaching the child how to fish, but surrounded by ang three kings ko yung galing Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, parang ganon. I presented actual artifacts, agongs, kulintang, yung hinonggong, the drum, the violin, the one-string violin ng ating but actual artifacts na pinahawak ko sa mga sculpture. The audience were awed by the work. No, ang malala lang doon is that ang Pope natin noon, si Pope Benedict, was supposed to participate from his window kasi maglalight lang siya ng candle as part of the Christmas blessing. But he was so intrigued with the work that he asked the Vatican guards that I want to see it. So pumunta talaga siya doon. Pumunta siya. And ako nandun lang ako. I was in front and well, naiyak lang ako sa sitwasyon that for being given the chance to do something like that, to present our culture to the world, like and to the head of Roman Catholic.
That was in 2010, a historic moment for Kublai and for the Philippines as his work reached the heart of the Vatican and marked a milestone in the global scene.
Yes, it stayed there for a month. Ngayon nandun pa naman sa storage nila kasi pwede nilang ilabas yun parang pabalik-balik.
In Davao City, where Kublai spent his high school years, his works are unmistakable, massive in scale. Each piece carries a story and meaning. As you arrive and exit the Davao International Airport, a towering durian sculpture near the taxi bay immediately comes into view.
Well, you would see if you're keen on the details. You would look at yung pananamit ng mga tao sa loob ng buto. Ang buto kasi ginawa kong tao. So you would see the different settlers in Mindanao. The major settlers, ang original dito yung mga indigenous peoples, and then came the Muslim, and then the different settlers na mga Christians. Ayun, tatlo sila. Nandun sa buto. Pero ang main nga dun, it's basically coexistence. And when we coexist like the durian fruit, we can be right, we can be ready, we can share. Parang ganon. Only then can we truly share when we are as one fruit. Parang ganon. Yan lang naman. Simple ang mensahe. Minsan, hindi lang nakukuha.
The original durian sculpture made by Kublai rests in their family-owned Ponce Suites.
Ginawa ko yun sa Ponce muna, and then when it was time for me to do something for the city, sabi ko parang ito ang magandang konsepto. So, yun.
At People's Park in Davao City, Kublai's presence is just as striking, with larger-than-life sculptures of children seamlessly woven into the park's everyday rhythm. Locals and tourists alike gather around these works as they jog, eat, play, interact, and unwind, experiencing art as part of daily life. His human sculptures are smiling, radiating positivity and happiness in the park.
The same process ko na when I start my work, I have to know that specific place. That's why I most of the time immerse first, na medyo malalim yung immersion natin. Although Davao was easy kasi nga I spent my high school days here. So it's just that when I was doing People's Park, may something happened. Napanganak yung firstborn boy. So, baby siya, ang cute. Yung kamay niya, hindi, pag ihawak-hawak niya ngayon, hindi aabot yung kamay niya. So, the proportions were like babies. No? So, I said, I would want to dedicate this park. So kung makikita mo yung sa pinakaharap na main fountain area, I created the 13 pioneers of Davao. Although the park is so big, ang dami kong na-express doon. But the main metaphor for that park is that it's all children, all pure. So napakaganda nung experience na yon. Even until now, it is still making a lot of people smile. Yun lang yung nga yung ano ko doon na when I first went to Europe, yung nung may ginawa ako for the Vatican, nakita ko doon yung mga eskultura, nakasimangot lahat. Parang ang tataray ng mga sculpture na kaya iniisip nila. So but here I am doing parks and same sculptures. Kanina lang nga marble or bronze, akin semento lang kasi yun lang budget natin. No, but what I do is that my works are all the people are smiling. Yung audience naman, yung mga locals pag tumitingin sila, kung papa-picture sila, nakasmile, pareho sila nakasmile. So I think that I did good.
Kublai's large-scale sculptures also adorn the family-owned Ponce Suites, now a dormitory where his paintings line its hallways. From the massive Carabao and the soaring eagle to landmark works beyond the city, Kublai's creations continue to draw the public in. His monumental pieces can also be found across the country, including the Lantapan Monument in Bukidnon, the 70-foot Christ the Redeemer in Misamis Occidental, and iconic works such as Inang Kalikasan, Inang Malaya, Dambana ng Sining, Tower of Hope, and countless more now established tourist attractions in their own rights.
I have bodies of work for ganito kasi yan. When I try to do exemplary parks and monuments and sculptures for each sector of society. So meron po tayo pa sa religion, no? Mga dedicated to faith. Meron din tayo for education, so may mga works tayo sa mga paaralan. Tapos meron tayo for health. So ngayon ng hapon pupunta ako sa SPMC kasi may ginawa akong kalabaw doon at saka mga kandila. No? So sa mga hospitals. Tapos, syempre for children, yung People's Park. No? So, ang marami tayo is for history. Kasi very important to look back or recall lessons from history. Yun yung ano ko doon. But, ang pinaka-advocacy ko talaga ngayon is more on the culture. But culture is ang last na work ko ngayon, if you I can share the one in Bukidnon sa provincial capital nila sa Kaamulan grounds. So I featured the 7 tribes of Bukidnon. So but mainly it's not about the tribes. It's about what they believe and what they live for. So basically babalik pa rin tayo sa nature. No, na without nature, wala pa rin tayo. No? Because it's our environment, useless lahat ng pinaghihirapan natin, kawawa yung mga anak natin, kawawa yung communities natin. So, simple masyado yung mga mensahe, but napaka-komplikado lang talaga ng mundo ngayon. Kaya dito lang ako sa bahay, luto-luto, kape, hatid sa bata.
A recurring theme in Kublai's work is the tri-people of Mindanao. The Lumads, Muslims, and Christians, his masterpieces breathe cultural education through art. Why is it important for him to consistently highlight this narrative of unity and coexistence?
I have been in this field for a while. Consistently makikita nyo na I try to make sure that everyone is represented. That people would feel that they are part of society. Pag example sa isang lugar na pagdaan ng isang munisipyo na dominated by Christians, and then the Muslims would pass by in a rotonda and they see, hey, kasali tayo dun, no? So napakaganda ng ano na yon, ng mensahe na yon. So I started with that that's why I call my works, my monuments, as peace monuments, because they all try to call for oneness, parang ganon. Ano ko lang is that the moment you go outside of Mindanao, nagpupunta din po tayo sa iba-ibang lugar, but the truth is different, because there are places na hindi na ganun yung sitwasyon. So nagbabago yung call for peace. So hindi na siya peace but more on oneness. So tingin ko naman na although napakaliit lang ng contribution ko, but whenever we put up a monument in even a third class municipality, you would notice that even for such a short time, say 2-3 years, 5 years, 10 years, talagang gumaganda yung lugar kasi nalalagyan ng simbolo. So it's yung symbolism is very important in pushing for etong mga peace na problema, kasi lalong-lalo na kapag park yung ating approach, nagagather yung mga tao, tapos pag nag-gather sila, may nagbebenta na, so nagkakaroon ng livelihood. Yung ano ko lang is that my approach to this is that, kasi pupunta tayo sa mga first world countries, but mahal naman yung proseso nila. So ang atin, yung pump natin to create the waterfalls is yung simpleng pump. Yung hose natin, hose ng shower ng panligo, mga ganon. Ang sculpture natin, semento at bakal, but with the same love and care for the local culture. So nakaka-create tayo ng magandang tanawin na nagre-represent ng local. So I think in pushing for this yung kaguluhan, this creates the balance. Kasi nasa gitna yung mga gawa ko, nasa gitna ng daan, nasa mga parke, kaya napaka-importante.
When it comes to the role of public art in preserving and educating people about indigenous roots and shared heritage, Kublai has this to say.
That is exactly the reason why I work so hard. Me and my team work so hard na kasi imagine mo kung tutuusin lang, kung alam mo yung mga presyo ng mga community works namin, we are not really paid that well. But it's important that we do it for the love of the people and the culture.
Among Kublai's works is the Pablo Memorial Shrine in Katiil, built in remembrance of the victims of Typhoon Pablo. Asked about the challenge of creating art rooted in collective grief, Kublai pauses and reflects.
You have become an instrument for something bigger, something deeper, and something, ito yung pinakamahirap, kasi imagine being tasked to put up a symbol for all that collective grief. Yung sa Katiil, actually, marami po tayong gawang ganyan. Nagtagal din ako sa Yolanda. So halos mahigit 1 taon na ako doon. May mga tatlong works din ako doon. So how would you be given the task to create or to imagine something for everybody na ganun kabigat? Parang ang kapal naman ng mukha mo o ang lakas ng sikmura mo, no? But sa akin is that I have to surrender myself na hindi na ako yon. I have my talent, but well, you can use my body and my skill and my mind to create something like that. No? So, kaya nga hindi yun yung hirap na ano, hindi yun yung hirap ng katawan na at ng pagod, kundi yung kaluluwa mo kasi you are being called to basta hindi ko siya ma-explain but it's very very fulfilling for me to actually pag mga ganyan volunteer lang nga ako eh. No, so and imagine um staying months and months and digging in, beside graveyards.
Work on the San Pedro Memorial Shrine took 6 to 8 months to complete, requiring long periods away from family and friends. It was a personal sacrifice made in service of a cause bigger than himself.
Different form of art, which I hope that the next generation would also consider kasi iilan na lang yung pwedeng yung gustong gawin ng mga ganitong klaseng sining. They give themselves totally to in service of those who are affected.
The project was done pro bono, though the community in Katiil supported the artists with warm, generous meals.
Hirap ng mga pagkain doon, mga lobster lang, tsaka mga
The greater challenge was when they were in Leyte, in the aftermath of Typhoon Yolanda, where the scale of devastation made the work even more demanding, and they could not eat the fish in the area.
Although sa Yolanda ang hirap kasi ako I'm fesco vegetarian. But in Yolanda we could not eat the fish because it could also be eating budgies in the sea.
Yeah.
Or delata.
Beyond recognition and scale, what is Kublay's deeper advocacy as an artist?
I just follow what is good in my heart. Alam mo yun, when you give, iba kasi yung when you give back, iba yung napipilitan ka. But I give back in small and big ways, which is to people who are close to my heart and my process. Yun lang nga, ang una mong, kung tutulong ka man lang, unahin mo yung mga katribo mo. But ang katribo ko ay ang mga pintor at mga sculptor. So I have created a platform and a series of lectures and mentoring workshops for them to help them catch up or elevate their skills and their understanding on how to be an artist. Parang ganon. So, after nung, kasi nga, ang imagine mo, nagawa ko, and imagine if this tribe would increase a breed of artists who are well thought, knowledgeable, well researched, who have big hearts, who love culture. Imagine mo yung dadami yung mga artists na katulad ko. I think we could make a little dent in making this world a little better. Or not the world, kahit Pilipinas lang. Or kahit kung saang sulok lang kami. Hindi naman natin kaya yung buong mundo. Hindi din natin kaya yung buong Pilipinas. Yung sulok lang. But if it's inspiring, maybe they can learn from our process.
When people see Kublay's masterpieces decades from now, what does he hope they will understand about Mindanao, about unity, and about himself?
Art cannot stand alone na as one person, as one artist, as it has to be whole. Parang ganun lang na no matter what an artist would do, pang sinasabi niya na hindi kompleto ang sining kung hindi tayo buo. That's why part of my lecture when we do our mentoring, we teach the art of wholeness. Makikita mo yung sarili mo sa iba. Yun yung ano doon na. So, ang purpose ng sining is for people to reflect not just today, Kasi sabi mo, decades. I don't know how the next generation would be. Pero ngayon nga, medyo na ano ako, na parang ang hina ng generation ngayon na hindi na kasi sila umiinom eh. Puro milk tea. Tandoy at saka gin. Kami kasi, ayaw ko, gin na tinitira namin at saka alak eh. No, but I hope that the next generation, there are generational problems, and I hope our art today would one day hold special values which they can find useful in the coming decades or more.
For Kublai, the greatest work of art is not a sculpture, but a society shaped by shared values and living traditions, one grounded in indigenous knowledge and wisdom, guided by interfaith respect and fueled by creativity. It is culture itself, carefully formed and continuously refined. And in this vision, Kublai holds on to the idea of unity, communities growing outward in sacred circles, strengthened by collective purpose and empowerment. Kublai's art goes beyond scale and medium. From monuments and parks to paintings, photographs, and printmaking, his advocacy remains, honoring Mindanao's heritage, amplifying indigenous voices, and reminding us that unity among cultures is a work of art in itself. In every form, he tells the story of Mindanao and of the Philippines, not just as a place, but as a shared identity shaped by its people. This has been Rochelle Rubio. Join me again next Friday for another episode of The Advocates, only here on Capital 104.3.
This is where the voices of the voiceless are heard. The Advocates, Empowering Voices. Hosted by Rochelle Rubio on Capital 104.3